Hi, it's Harriet Morris here, and this is my weigh-in update. And I'm going to talk about breaking my weight loss plateau and what I learned from this weigh-in, because weigh-ins give us data and we can learn from data how to optimize, how to make things easier, better, more powerful. And here's the word, more sustainable. Okay, so first of all, the results. Okay, so I am down zero point 0.7 of a kilo and I am now 74.65 kilos. I'm really happy with this considering the week I've had. But also, my metabolic age has gone from 60 to 59. I'm 54. So you understand that going from the decade above you to the decade that you're in is that's almost better than the weight loss. Okay, let's get into it. Why do I think I've got this result?
And now for something completely different.
So last weigh-in, I talked about I was going to make two changes. And the first was no coffee. And I have to say it worked really well. The next day after I stopped drinking coffee, it was easier to move and everything. So that was definitely a good thing to do. Secondly, I talked about going low carb in the middle of the week, like having a low carb basin. So what I did was a moderate weekend. I went out for lunch. I had a quiche with some salad. And for me, that's moderate carb in the context of the week. And then on the Sunday, I had Sunday lunch, always includes roast potatoes, which are obviously quite high carb. But in the context of the meal and the whole day, it makes it a moderate carb day, I believe. Monday was mixed, but definitely Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was this low carb basin. I made sure that I didn't eat anything that was even moderate carbs. So I think the main reason that I got that result was this low carb basin. What I want to say about eating low carb for 3 days of the week is that it was so easy because it's really filling. For example, breakfast on a really low carb day is scrambled eggs and mushrooms. 3 scrambled eggs, that's a lot of eggs. And so there wasn't an issue with hunger. And neither was there an issue with boredom, because guess what? I'm not doing it all week. And the other thing is that it allows me to have Sunday lunch. And the thing about Sunday lunch is, for me, is that when we get into autumn and it's drizzly and it's cold, my whole being craves Sunday lunch, and especially it craves the roast potato. And so if you say to me, "Oh, Harriet, to lose weight, you could never have roast potatoes," that's just like poking a stick at my inner food rebel. What I did on Sunday was, when I was making Sunday lunch for all of us, I prepared one potato each. And so I got my roast potatoes, I got my Sunday lunch, and that was really important for me. And I felt satisfied. And then in the week, I had the low carb basin. Okay, other things this week. I have not been that active because I pulled a muscle in my arm, and it just meant that it was really hard to move. It's my right arm, my dominant arm. So there was a lot I couldn't do. And I certainly couldn't go to the gym for 2 of my workouts. And the one I did do, I cut short. And so I think when you take that into account, and that I've had a 0.7 kilo loss, I'm just over the moon when I combine all the things I've done this week, which were not only successful, but really doable, really enjoyable. So last question. What am I going to do this coming week based on what I've learned? Coffee, I'm not going to have more than 3 cups. I'm going to repeat the low carb basin, but add activity in. So that's it for this week. Subscribe and you can catch up with my updates. I'll be making an update every single week with my weigh-ins. And it's all about using those weigh-ins as data to improve. And it's just a really positive and really exciting way to do things. I have got off my weight loss plateau over the last few weeks. I'm really happy about it. Cheers.